this video, I'm going to think through how to set up some instructions for working with assignments in this course. Now, in the sync session, I mentioned a few ways that you can use AI for your assignments itself, right? So let's see how we can use Gemini for that. And I'm going to approach this a little differently. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is and again, this is a very stream of consciousness as I'm doing it in real time, kind of a recording. So bear with me as I pull these things up, right? So what I would start with for something like this is I would upload the course syllabus itself. Okay, where is my course syllabus? There it is. So upload means just drag and drop. Okay, and then I'm going to say this is the course syllabus for a course I am in right now. I will I need you to work with me for the assignments. I'll begin with the first assignment. Do you understand this? I will upload the assignment instructions next. Are there any questions you have for me that will help you be better at this task? While it's doing that, I'm going to pull up the instructions for the first assignment, which is this. I'm skipping the peer review part of it. I'm just doing the instructions here. Yes, I understand. I'll work with you on the assignments, upload the assignment instructions. What is your goal for each assignment? Okay. What level of detail are you expecting? Is there anything specific you're struggling with? And what are your preferred working methods? Do you prefer a step-by-step approach? Okay, so for these, what I've discovered when it asks me questions is I just respond to the questions in the order that they are. So first question is start with brainstorming, and then we'll go to drafting and revising. Shift enter. For the second question, what level of hands-on? 3, is there anything specific you're struggling with or anticipate struggling with? Okay, I want to make sure I understand the parameters clearly, and I am aiming for top marks in this course. 4, what are your preferred working methods? Do you prefer a step-by-step approach, or do you like to get all the information up front? Interesting question. I'm not too sure, so I'm going to say let's start with info up front and switch to step by step if I need to. Okay. One thing I did want to mention when I typed this out, right, you would have noticed that there are a lot of spelling mistakes that I make. I don't use punctuations either. Perfectly fine for these large language models. They don't need that. And so I don't spend time on that. Some of you might be wondering how I get these red lines under my text, which you might not with your Gemini. And that's because I have a paid version of Grammarly. So the Grammarly tool sits on all of my websites and corrects my grammar in pretty much everything I do. And so that this has to do with Grammarly, and it's not a Gemini feature. Okay, right. So now let's start with the first assignment. Assignment 1, Shift, enter, enter, and then I'm going to just paste what I copied. When I'm pasting, I generally like to do a Control Shift V. It gives an unformatted version. Okay, so let's see. Okay, it's reviewed the assignment. This is the assignment goal, key requirements, the content, blah, 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 brainstorming. What I will do at this point, now that I've gotten everything, because I wanted an information dump up front, what I do after this is I will, of course, read through this slowly and then pick up each section, right? To make this context specific, let's first define your setting. Since this is 615, we'll assume a HPE context. Now, it's asking for your setting itself. So now notice, you're interacting with this, but you're not doing it in a generic way. You're really using this for something that's relevant to you, right? And so put in your context, see what happens. And so that's what I would do. I would go section by section. At this point, I might say, I want to go section by section and work through them. Let's start with the setting. Right? And I will go from here, working through all of that. Now, I'll put in something, and if you saw the previous video, you know I will push back. I'll say, I don't like this, give me something else, and then your conversation moves on from there, right? So please, this is generally how I would do it. Now I'm going to take a shot in the dark and see what happens with this, but let's try this. Can you take these instructions and create a comprehensive prompt that I can use for the next assignments? And this is something that I have discovered when working with these tools, right? Remember the previous video, I started by asking for the prompt and it went a little crazy over there, right? So at other times, what I've done is I do the activity that I want to create the prompt for. As I'm doing the activity, I'm also tweaking and getting it to where I want it to be. And once I've gone through the whole thing, say for one assignment or for one whole example scenario, I then ask it to create a prompt based on that conversation. And then I get this complete prompt, right? What I would do over here now is I would copy all of this and put it in a Word document. So for assignment 2, I don't need to repeat this. I'll just put this there and then start working with assignment 2. I hope that makes sense. Now, when you're working with assignment 1, you might also want to put in the review criteria, right? So upload the reviewed peer review document and have it grade you. So that can also be a part of the prompts that you set up. So have fun trying this out and we'll see how it is.